today's webinar on 5 ways field service can use social technology to delight customers. As always, ServiceMax has a great topic for you, and we want to ensure all your questions get answered. So please feel free to submit them as we go along, as we'll stop for Q&A at the end. I also wanted to remind you that we will be sending you the final recorded webinar and slide deck. So without further delay, I'd like to introduce you to our speaker today, Vidya Chichanga, Director of Product Marketing from ServiceMax.
Thank you, Naomi. Welcome, everyone. My name is Vidya Chichanga. I'm the Director of Product Marketing at ServiceMax. Super excited to have you guys here. Again, the topic is 5 ways field service can use social technology to delight customers. And the agenda for today is the following. I want to just talk about where we are today in field service, why social now, does it make sense at this point in time to embrace this technology. The focus of today's webinar, as I was reading the title, I realized the bulk of it is really around the 5 everyday social-based scenarios I want to present to you guys. I feel like telling these stories would resonate with you guys, and you can apply it to your industry, your organization, and relate to it better. And then obviously I want to try and go hand in hand with the social collaboration solution from ServiceMax. So it's not, the intention is not to make it a salesy pitch, but to tell you that there are solutions out there that help you easily get up to speed on social technology in field service. With that, I mean, this is the reality in your business today. You have your service organization, and you're surrounded by, disconnected systems. You've got rising performance expectations, both from the market, the Wall Street, if you're publicly traded, from your partners, from your customers, from your employees, and everyone has high expectations. You've got distributed operations. You're going global, or you're spreading your wings in a particular state. With the advancement in technology, there's sophisticated equipment now. There are complex and complicated products. And last but not the least, the actual guys in field service, you have a younger workforce entering field service organizations. So these are the known forces you have to work with. And amidst all of this, you have those 3 big pillars that the overarching aim you have in an organization. It could be around improving customer satisfaction, or increasing service revenue, or decreasing service costs. And kind of just keep these in mind, these 3 blue pillars or circles I have, because I'll reference them as I go through the webinar. And companies really, if you're able to do a good job of embracing these various forces in service business, you're able to focus on your customers, you're able to train your employees and nurture the right culture, and develop a free-flowing information style, you are going to be today's winners in your business. You're going to leave the competition far, far behind. And hopefully in today's discussion, you'll see I can give you a few tips on how to do that. Okay, so remember those 3 blue circles we spoke about? If I were to just peel those layers and look under the cover, you would know that there are these key influencers, and these key influencers, I put these out because they're relevant for social. These key metrics help in driving either the service revenue, improving customer satisfaction, or reducing costs. For example, just increasing the first-time fix rate. The fact that you're able to get a technician out there and he is able to finish the job the first time around is a big deal. Decreasing the mean time to repair. I mean, these are metrics you live by every day. If you're able to squeeze in 1 extra job in a day, that adds a significant amount of revenue to your service revenue pool. Improving this response rate. My next slide, I'll talk about response rate, and customers, their expectations are profound these days. They're expecting you to respond to them as quickly as they have a problem. And finally, of course, improving technician utilization, their productivity, these are two different metrics, but ultimately making sure that you're giving your technician everything he needs to be successful on the job. Here are some direct impact on the key metrics we spoke about. First off, it's interesting that 42% of consumers who complain on social media expect a response in under 60 minutes. I mean, even if you are just trying out your presence on Facebook, or you're just trying it out on Twitter, and somebody in your company has created an account and is just sitting there idle, well, you get called out on social media, then the rest of the folks who are aware of your brand, aware of your organization, are monitoring this, and the expectations are pretty high from your customers. 95% of people love to complain about subpar customer service experiences. They would go talk to their peers, their friends, their neighbors, you name it, and before you know it, it's spread through the social media. Well, 95% is kind of the bad news. 87% of people also talk highly if they've received good customer experience. So there's the good and the bad part of it. So why social now? I mean, it's first off, I was trying my best to try and find something in field service for social. It's so difficult to find numbers in field service because it's a new technology. Social collaboration is not being embraced all that much, but then hopefully this webinar can give you a few tips. It's not that complicated. You can take baby steps. You can do little things and still get the most bang for the buck. So just on this slide, it's interesting that 90% plus companies will be using social media by 2020 to respond to customer and partner service inquiries. Of course, speedy response. Remember the previous slide where we spoke about improving and increasing the response time? So speedy response to these queries will impact at least one of the three service pillars that we spoke about. So customer satisfaction for sure is going to be impacted by this. Customer sat will decide whether this particular customer is going to stay with you or not, whether he'll renew the service contract that you're offering, whether he's going to order parts from you or not, whether he's going to talk highly of you and your brand to his neighbor or not. So this is happening. This is a big wave, and it's coming so fast that in the next few years, all these inquiries would take the social channel. This is an interesting study. It's a case study from TSIA. A TSIA member who's a part of the field service community, it's a $22 billion office products firm. They launched a global knowledge sharing initiative. They didn't even go, really big. This was an intranet-based initiative, and with 23,000 field repair users around the world, they were able to post questions for their peers. People were able to contribute new knowledge. In a year, they literally solved about 300,000 issues, which saves them an estimated $12 million in revenue. So this is a classic example that social doesn't have to be really big. It can be just, you can do small things and see a huge impact. So I think this is a great time to pull up a poll. I wanted to ask you guys, this is a webinar. I hate it to be a monologue. So let's just pull up a poll question, Naomi, and find out from our folks, which social media is your company on? I know you're asked to select one. Hopefully if you have more than one, then I can talk to that as well. But if you can pick, is it Facebook, is it Twitter, is it something from Salesforce, chatter-based solution, is it something else that we haven't heard about, or it's none. It's like, hey, listen, it's not for us, we haven't done it so far. What are you talking about? Social media? That's why I'm here, to learn more about it. So once the poll ends, and I think we have some results coming in, it looks like Salesforce Chatter is the winner at this point with about 38% saying that it's Chatter. about 29% saying it's Facebook. That's pretty impressive. I mean, 29% on Facebook is pretty darn impressive, really. I'm just internalizing this information. Awesome. So let's keep this in mind, and let's go to the next slide, where why social, right? Why social now? Well, your customers are expecting it. Your competitors are doing it. This is an year old, but really field service adoption and planned spending is increasing in the social media space for field service at least. So this is just the right time to be investing in something like this. Vendors have innovated and they've implemented social solutions across all industries, and customers are beginning to accept this option as a way of communicating with your vendors. So if you have a field service vendor, then you can choose social as a medium to communicate with them as well. So, I just wanted to throw it out there. Sometimes it's so easy to get carried away. Social media, social technology, it's just, it's sometimes too fluffy. So I wanted to throw out these 4 most common field service social applications that are out there. And there's no denying it, right? Social solutions, some of you, like 29% of you who are on Facebook, hopefully have seen that these solutions are already transforming not just our personal lives, but our professional lives and the way we communicate. I would love to have examples and anecdotal references from you guys, but that's a reality. Let's take one of these apps. Let's go with ServiceMax, ServicePulse, because I can provide the most information there. And ServicePulse is from ServiceMax. Before I go into the 5 scenarios, just want to say that ServiceMax provides this end-to-end solution, right from contract scheduling all the way to parts and reverse logistics. Everything's available through portals, and we've got mobile solutions on the iPad and laptops and smartphones. But for today's discussion, we want to go into the social aspect of it. ServiceMax is truly one of the innovators in the field service social technology space. And it's not Facebook for work. It's not about being social. It's all about solving real customer problems and delighting your customers. Imagine empowering your technician with the knowledge of the entire organization. You're in your back office. You're Mr. Manager. You're Mr. Director. But the technician is out there all alone. If you're able to send, document, send, and leverage the tribal knowledge with every technician, wouldn't that be great? You can keep your back office up to date with everything that's going on in the field. So it's a two-way street there. So here are the 5 everyday-based scenarios. I just felt like when I tell my kids a story, I feel like it stays with them for longer. So here's my take on giving you guys 5 short stories. So I'm going to go through all of them, so no point reading this slide. Let's just say it's around collaboration. The first 2 scenarios, the fix it the first time and help your customers help themselves, both these scenarios are for technicians. So with collaboration, the technician is able to post a question, troubleshoot in real time. You don't need to know who the expert is. You can share a fix to help others delight customers. You can even leverage and document valuable tribal knowledge. So those are, like the most obvious forms of collaboration. It just doesn't have to end there. The fixes to issues can be quickly posted to a shared knowledge base across the wide organization, and you can use the built-in technology like Apple FaceTime or Skype. And field technicians can even show a problem to an expert and get critical help on the spot. Right? So let's just say Jake is a technician. He's at the customer side fixing a large piece of medical equipment. It's obviously medical equipment, X-ray machines, chemotherapy machines, oncology equipment, anything you can talk about. This is mission critical, right? It's important that he fixes it the first time around. But then Jake faces a problem that he's never seen before. He posts a question on the social collaboration network, asking folks in his group if anyone knows how to solve this problem. Within minutes, the key engineer, the key or a senior technician responds with a detailed description as to what Jake needs to do to fix that particular problem. Now, traditionally, your organization or this organization would have had to send someone out the next day, next week, schedule, look at who's available, who can do the job, qualified technician, and so on. But now, Jake has not just successfully avoided a second truck roll. By the way, a second truck roll costs over $1,000 to you and inconvenience to the customer. Anyway, Jake has not just successfully avoided a truck roll to the customer, but the customer himself is thrilled that the fix was provided so effectively the first time around. Guess what? Jake gets a 10 in his service rating. But you know what? Wait a second. It doesn't end with Jake. The next time around, another technician faces the same issue. He now has the information available for him on this social platform. And if this issue keeps coming over and over again, guess what? It's time to report it to the home office engineers. You can take it back to the product management. Well, second example is, let's say Terry is another field technician, and let's just go to a smaller company this time. Let's say he works, he's a plumber, he gets to the first job of the day, it's a leaky bathroom faucet, he's got all the right tools, he's got ServiceMax, he's got parts visibility, he can see what's in his trunk, stock, and so on. So obviously he's taken all the necessary parts with him in his van, but once he starts the job, he realizes that, oh my God, this is so simple. It's just a small knob. It's hidden all the way in the back of the faucet, and all he had to do was to turn it off to stop the leak. Guess what? He takes a picture of the knob and posts it to the social media. When I say social media, remember, it could be ServicePulse, it could be your Facebook-related community, it could be whatever, but you post it. Now, Terry also takes time to add some notes as to where to find the knob and the direction to turn it in. He shares it with the community of people. So, you know, the help customers help themselves. This is important because you've not just helped one customer, but you've helped other customers self-service themselves. You know, they can do it without even creating a case or a service request. That truly is convenient for a customer, because then that becomes a 24/7 self-service scenario. The next two scenarios or use cases I have for you are around Ticker. So Ticker is a constant, real-time streaming of your business updates. Depending on who you are, Ticker gives, you know, your employees, your executives, visibility to the changes, updates, and important items the moment it happens in your business. You know, you could be following cases, accounts, opportunities, people. If you have people reporting to you or even your peers, you can go directly to the Ticker to see an important customer is down. You can pass on kudos when a big opportunity is closed. You can look at the success of a fellow technician and so on. This is truly keeping a pulse on the health of your organization in real time. So let's take an example of Dave. Let's say Dave is a CEO. Check out his suit, the orange guy in a suit. I love this picture. So he can keep a pulse on the affairs of his company at various levels, right? Here at ServiceMax, we eat our own dog food. So, and our CEO's name is also Dave. That's convenient. So, you know, Dave can stay on top of the information on customers, on partners, on products, on people. I mean, he can post frequently. Your CEO can track products, cases, technicians, depending on how much time he wants to spend on it, how interested he is. Maybe he's traveling, he's somewhere else, but he still knows that what's happening in his organization. You know what's interesting? In spite of being the CEO of a company, he can interact with people he usually doesn't get a chance to interact with. So that's really cool. Dave can see and follow a service contract that just got renewed, for example. Maybe he's interested in a particular customer, a VIP customer, a platinum customer, a customer who's had issues in the past. Maybe it's time for renewal and this customer is unhappy. Maybe Dave can give a quick call to the customer. There are so many things that can happen just because he's staying on top of everything. Guess what? He was also able to see that Jake got a 10 out of 10 in the customer rating that the customer just gave. And who knows, maybe he is able to track Jake and see that Jake has done great for the past 4 weeks. He can award him a one-time bonus of $100 or something. The possibilities are immense and endless. Now let's say this is a service manager. I realize wearing a tie, but the person I had in mind was Stacy. So just imagine Stacy is in the office with a tie, and she is able to keep a pulse on various products and technicians in her organization. You're a service manager, you're a service director. Apart from seeing the various postings in the group, now the service manager can react to escalations more rapidly. You know, Stacy can use the ticker as a dashboard to get a very high-level view of all the activities on the team. She can watch as cases get opened and closed. She can see where the technicians are stuck. She can see if a senior technician was able to upsell something, cross-sell a particular part or a product. She can jump into escalations in a timely manner and, you know, obviously pass on kudos to technicians when the job is successfully completed. She doesn't have to wait for a quarterly review or a monthly review where things are forgotten and appreciation becomes scarce. So, you know, truly can be on top of things as a manager as well. Now, the fifth aspect of the fifth scenario I want to talk about has nothing to do with humans. It has to do with products. It has to do with ProductPulse, remote device monitoring. That lets you know of a problem even before your customer does. So you can follow specific products or customers and see pulses. And I don't think you can see too well on this map, but those two yellow dots, they're actually triggers and pulses coming directly from the device. So you can proactively dispatch technicians to solve issues. You know, automatically create a work order. Obviously, this is a workflow, and you should, as an organization, you have to define the workflow. It could be an email alert. It could be a notification. It could be a text message to a technician, group of technicians, assign it to a queue. I mean, you can do so many things with it. So let's say this machine reminds me of the customer visit I had this week in Phoenix. And this customer of ours uses remote device monitoring, and it's for radiation therapy. And the technician was telling me that when a complicated machine actually breaks down, it's interesting that he gets these workflow email notifications, and he's got a method to the madness. So if he gets like 5 email notifications in the hour, he decides that it's important enough, and then he calls up the customer. And the reason the customer hasn't called the support center yet is because it's maybe one feature in the radiation therapy equipment, and it's not a showstopper. So they can maybe wait till after hours or wait till the end of the week to get that repaired. But imagine a technician proactively calling the customer. It's like, whoa, I got to know the problem just 5 minutes ago or an hour ago, and you're on top of it. Oh, you already know it, and I didn't even call you yet. That's just providing such proactive product service absolutely differentiates your brand with respect to your competitors. You know, you can define, you can decide how you want proactive product service to be set up, but this is truly something that can help you differentiate your brand and your service offering. I think I want to ask another poll question before I go into the next case study and just talk about one of our raving fans. This is a good time to ask the next poll question. Do you, or I mean, obviously your company, have plans to embrace social technology in field service in 2013? And I know that 29% of you said you're already on Facebook. Hopefully you realize that I was asking as a company and not you personally. And then, a lot of you said it's, 38% of them said Chatter. So I know you're on it, but then there are other means of embracing social technology. And so just select one of them. Do you think you should have done that yesterday? You think you're not there yet? Or you're like, yeah, I'm kind of sold on it, but I need guidance. So that would be interesting to know. And the poll results are, well, I like the 35% of you who say that you should have done that yesterday. Hopefully you know that ServicePulse, for example, is a part of your license fee from ServiceMax. So it's really, you have it, whatever flavor of ServiceMax you buy. And then if you're not there yet, it's a good time to have that conversation. Hopefully, if you reach back and we give you a demonstration of how easy it is to make yourself social and to embrace this technology, maybe you'll change your mind. And the 24%, we are here to guide you. Absolutely, would love to have a conversation, show you a free demonstration, and so on. So with that, here's the happy customer. I mean, McKinley Equipment is they're in SoCal in Irvine, California, and they deliver safe solutions to loading docks, warehouses, industrial and commercial facilities. So the McKinley elevators provide elevator shafts, lifts and ramps for commercial, school, and even residential homes. Now, what's interesting is their biggest problem was obviously they have to replace tons of paper in order to complete their daily business. They equipped all their technicians with iPads. They integrated with their back-end ERP system. And now they're able to provide complete visibility across sales and service and also provide CFOs and CSOs and COOs in the organization the right tools to proactively manage resources and work. Now, Kevin himself, for example, being the CFO, is most interested in reducing the DSO. He's interested in improving the collections time. He's looking at making sure that the technician has access to all the information they need when they're out there on the job. It doesn't matter where they are, whether they have connectivity or don't have connectivity, whether their iPad has signal or not. He wants his technicians to be able to, he doesn't want them to be lone wolves in the field. He truly wants, he's using ServicePulse as a game changer in his organization. For those of you who said, yes, I need some help, yes, I need some guidance, hopefully you don't have to wait till we talk on the phone or exchange emails or meet at Maximize next week. These are some of the top 5 tips to increase social adoption. Tip number 1, get executives involved. Your manager, your management, your sales counterpart, get them involved because it helps drive faster adoption. Obviously, this is assuming that you're sold on social and you are pitching social to your executives, but it's important to get higher ups involved. Find your champions. Just like I conveyed 5 scenarios for social, convey scenarios where social can play an important part, and then go find those executives who can be your champion, who can vouch for this technology on your behalf at the water cooler or on the somewhere else in the office where you're not present. Streamline processes. Once you have it, make sure that you define certain tasks that can only be done through social. It could be as simple as vacation approval, or it could be something like, oh, send me a notification on ServicePulse, or if your customer has given you a good comment or a good appraisal, then you can make sure that you post it onto ServicePulse, so it's not just you, but everyone else gets to see it in the organization too, versus you just getting an email and you sending it to a couple of folks saying congratulations. Now everybody in the organization gets to see it. So you can define these key processes and tasks and streamline them using social. Then train new hires. When you have a module in the training catalog on social, then you know it's serious. Because you're training not just new hires, you're sending a message across the organization saying it's so important, I want everyone to be on top of it, I want everyone to be aware of such a solution within the organization. And then, create groups. You don't want, pretty soon you may get to know everything everybody is saying, and maybe that's not interesting to you, and you may think that's just slowing me down. So you can create groups. You can say, I want to create just a technicians group, but not just a technicians group across the organization, just the technician groups that report to Stacy as a service manager, or just the ones that are under a particular service director, and so on. Or you could create groups for products. You could create groups by geography. I mean, you know what I mean. You can just, so that you see what matters to you. Those are my top 5 tips to increase social adoption within your organization. And you know what? There's tons of free content on ServiceMax.com. Just feel free to go on there, try it out. You can sign up for a free demonstration. You can read customer testimonials. You can surely look at some of our customer videos and product videos. I think there's also a ServicePulse video on there that tells you, how the product works. And last but not the least, at ServiceMax, we're super excited that next week we have our annual customer conference in San Francisco. We have a prospect track as well called Discovery Track. Registration is free of cost. Tons of networking. We have analysts. We have industry experts. We have hands-on training, lots of product information, and of course, you get to hang out with others from the same industry. Okay, so this was, I hate to put up a summary slide where I'm repeating what I just said. Instead, I was like, since Halloween is not too far off, in field service, is social a trick or is it a treat, right? Let's think about the technician. Well, it's tricky when he's not able to resolve problems on the site, or he has to come back to solve the same problem. As an executive, it's crazy when there's no visibility into what's going on, and you need reports or you need certain dashboards which are stale, a month old, that tells you this is what happened in the past. You want to be able to handle escalations or give kudos on the fly. So the treat is, with social technology, you're able to access, as a technician, you're able to access manuals, you're able to get to an expert in the back office, you're able to access information, videos, knowledge documents in real time anywhere you are. And as an executive, you're able to have visibility into what matters today. So hopefully that's a discussion we can continue on Twitter. Find me on Twitter at VidyaPC or hashtag ServiceMax. Would love to know what your experiences are. And with that, let's open it up for any questions.
Thanks, Vidya. And I also just wanted to remind people to submit your questions. You can use the questions tab on your control panel. Just type it in the message box and send it over, and Vidya will answer your question for you. And if we aren't able to answer it now, the ServiceMax team will follow up with you after the webinar.
Awesome. So there are a couple of questions. Let me take them one by one. Does this work in a BYOD environment? That's a broad question. Let me tackle it in a couple of ways. So bring your own device to work is absolutely, it totally works in BYOD. Imagine a mobile strategy where you can define for your organization and say, well, my organization is adopting a BYOD strategy wherein I'm letting my technicians bring any device to work, and the IT department has policies and procedures in place that would help, and that's in line with these devices. And the technician can take any device to work and it would still work. So social and mobile are literally the two sides of the same coin. So you can decide which mobile device, and social will work on it. Now, that's one way to answer the question. Taking it down specifically to ServiceMax, I would say that ServiceMax absolutely rides the BYOD wave. We are an HTML5-based solution, which means that you can pull up any browser on any device, and you can pull up the same solution, same consistent user experience, because you're able to see the same app the same way on any device. So hopefully that answers the question. Otherwise, feel free to ask me another, the follow-up question. The next question is, of the 5 everyday scenarios, which 1 or 2 have you seen your customers implement the most, and what are the general results of these implementations? That's a fantastic question. And I apologize that I brought up a customer anecdotal reference only in the last scenario, but I have to say it's all the 5, and it's difficult to pick 1 or 2. If you put a gun to my head, maybe I'll pick the first 2 because it's most relevant for the technician. But across our customer base, executives use Ticker all the time because, I mean, really, it's a part of the product. Since it's a part of the product, it's available to you. You know, you don't have to turn it on or off. It's just there. You just have to join the right groups. You just have to make sure you have the right visibility, and you have access to it. And when it comes to the technician, taking it on the mobile device with him to the field, then the first 2 scenarios are very relevant. If I were to flip the question and say the one scenario that requires a little bit of implementation, that would be the last scenario, which is the product-to-product remote device monitoring, because then you would have to work with the partner to latch on this remote monitoring. I hope that helps. So, and then the one other question, which is, it's interesting, always we have this, the question on integration. Do you connect to back-end ERP systems? And the answer is absolutely. I mean, field service from any vendor can't exist in isolation. The good news is we are built on Force.com, so we are pre-integrated and we are native to Salesforce CRM. We share the same object base. We are on Force.com. So Salesforce.com has the Service Cloud, which has got knowledge management and self-service and so on, and we extend the Service Cloud into field service. So even if you go to Salesforce.com, we are on their homepage as one of the featured apps, and we just complete their service story. So connecting to ERP systems is a given because we've got billing information. The system of record for most organizations is the ERP system, and slowly maybe they're changing, they'll migrate to the cloud and change the system of record, but at this point it's mostly the ERP system. So going back and forth, bi-directional real-time data exchange is mostly the requirement at the get-go. Awesome. Okay, Naomi, so I think that's a wrap.
Yes, thank you, Vidya.
There's one question that just came in.
Sorry.
Do I have to purchase Salesforce license to use your system? And the answer is no. As of a year or so, we OEM Salesforce. So it's like in the past when you buy a system, people would say, do you have an Oracle database? Well, it doesn't matter. The database is a database. It's under the covers. Similarly, it doesn't matter. The Salesforce is under the wraps. We are on Force.com. It's just a ServiceMax license. You don't have to have a Salesforce license to use ServiceMax. And the same person is asking, can I modify your system? I'm thinking configuration, customization, absolutely. I fear to end it now because then I might have just one more question. Oh, do you have services? Yes, we do have professional services. As a matter of fact, our services organization is so big. Now it's global, given that we have 15+ worldwide partners who also are certified implementation partners at ServiceMax. So it's not just us, but our partners as well. And we are built on Force.com, so their API is our API, and we expose their objects, accounts, contacts, and we have our own custom objects. Perfect. And I'd love to take other questions offline. Naomi, let's wrap it up and give folks back the 19 minutes from this hour.
Great. Thank you again, Vidya. That was really great presentation. And I just wanted to give a final reminder for everyone who joined us that we will send you the final recorded webinar along with the slide deck so you can watch it again at your convenience. And again, if you have further questions, please contact Vidya directly. Thanks, everyone.